أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم
شروع اللہ کے نام سے جو بڑا مہربان نہایت رحم والا ہے۔
In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful.
والفجر
فجر کی قسم،
By the dawn,
وليال عشر
اور 10 راتوں کی،
and by the 10 nights,
والشفع والوتر
اور جفت اور طاق کی،
and by the even number and the odd,
والليل إذا يسر
اور رات کی جب جانے لگے،
and by the night when it passes.
هل في ذلك قسم لذي حجر
اور بے شک یہ چیزیں عقل مندوں کے نزدیک قسم کھانے کے لائق ہیں کہ کافروں کو ضرور عذاب ہوگا۔
Is there not in all that an oath sufficient for one of perception?
ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بعاد
کیا تم نے نہیں دیکھا کہ تمہارے پروردگار نے عاد کے ساتھ کیا کیا؟
Have you not considered how your Lord dealt with Ad,
إرم ذات العماد
جو ارم کہلاتے تھے اتنے دراز قد،
with Iram, who had lofty pillars,
التي لم يخلق مثلها في البلاد
کہ تمام ملک میں ایسے پیدا نہیں ہوئے تھے،
the likes of whom had never been created in the land.
وثمود الذين جابوا الصخر بالواد
اور سمود کے ساتھ کیا کیا جو وادی قرا میں پتھر تراشتے اور گھر بناتے تھے،
And with Thamud, who carved out the rocks in the valley.
وفرعون ذي الأوتاد
اور فرعون کے ساتھ کیا کیا جو خیمے اور میخیں رکھتا تھا،
And with Pharaoh, owner of the stakes.
الذين طغوا في البلاد
یہ لوگ ملکوں میں سرکش ہو رہے تھے،
All of whom oppressed within the lands.
فأكثروا فيها الفساد
اور ان میں بہت سی خرابیاں کرتے تھے،
And increased therein the corruption.
فصب عليهم ربك سوط عذاب
تو تمہارے پروردگار نے ان پر عذاب کا کوڑا نازل کیا،
So your Lord poured upon them a scourge of punishment.
إن ربك لبالمرصاد
بے شک تمہارا پروردگار طاق میں ہے،
Indeed, your Lord is in observation.
فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي أكرمن
مگر انسان عجیب مخلوق ہے کہ جب اس کا پروردگار اس کو آزماتا ہے کہ اسے عزت دیتا اور نعمت بخشتا ہے تو کہتا ہے کہ آہا میرے پروردگار نے مجھے عزت بخشی۔
And as for man, when his Lord tries him and thus is generous to him and favors him, he says, My Lord has honored me.
وأما إذا ما ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي أهانن
اور جب دوسری طرح آزماتا ہے کہ اس پر روزی تنگ کر دیتا ہے تو کہتا ہے کہ ہائے میرے پروردگار نے مجھے ذلیل کیا۔
But when he tries him and restricts his provision, he says, My Lord has humiliated me.
كلا بل لا تكرمون اليتيم
نہیں بلکہ تم لوگ یتیم کی خاطر نہیں کرتے،
No, but you do not honor the orphan.
ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين
اور نہ مسکین کو کھانا کھلانے کی ترغیب دیتے ہو.
And you do not encourage one another to feed the poor.
وتأكلون التراث أكلا لما
اور میراث کے مال کو سمیٹ کر کھا جاتے ہو.
And you consume inheritance, devouring it all together.
وتحبون المال حبا جما
اور مال کو بہت ہی عزیز رکھتے ہو.
And you love wealth with immense love.
كلا إذا دكت الأرض دكا دكا
تو جب زمین کی بلندی کوٹ کوٹ کر پست کر دی جائے گی.
No, when the earth has been leveled, pounded and crushed.
وجاء ربك والملك صفا صفا
اور تمہارا پروردگار جلوہ فرما ہوگا اور فرشتے قطار باندھ باندھ کر موجود ہوں گے.
And your Lord has come, and the angels rank upon rank.
وجيء يومئذ بجهنم يومئذ يتذكر الإنسان وأنى له الذكرى
اور دوزخ اس دن حاضر کی جائے گی تو انسان اس دن متنبہ ہوگا، مگر اب انتباہ سے اسے فائدہ کہاں مل سکے گا.
And brought within view that day is hell. That day man will remember. But what good to him will be the remembrance?
يقول يا ليتني قدمت لحياتي
کہے گا کاش میں نے اپنی زندگی جاویدانی کے لیے کچھ آگے بھیجا ہوتا.
He will say, "Oh, I wish I had sent ahead some good for my life."
فيومئذ لا يعذب عذابه أحد
تو اس دن نہ کوئی اللہ کے عذاب کی طرح کا کسی کو عذاب دے گا.
So on that day, none will punish as severely as his punishment.
ولا يوثق وثاقه أحد
اور نہ کوئی ویسا جکڑنا جکڑے گا.
And none will bind as severely as his binding of the evildoers.
يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة
اے اطمینان پانے والی روح.
To the righteous it will be said, "O reassured soul,
ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية
اپنے پروردگار کی طرف لوٹ چل، تو اس سے راضی، وہ تجھ سے راضی.
return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing to him."
فادخلي في عبادي
تو میرے ممتاز بندوں میں شامل ہو جا.
And enter among my righteous servants.
وادخلي جنتي
اور میری بہشت میں داخل ہو جا.
And enter my paradise.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. والفجر وليال عشر والشفع والوتر واللیل اذا یسر هل فی ذلک قسم لذی حجر. صدق اللہ العظیم. As I said before also, this subject of the oaths of Quran is a very difficult subject. Somewhere it's easy to understand what is muqsam bihi, what is muqsam alayh, with what the oath is being taken, on what the oath is being taken. And there is a rational connection between the two. But at most of the other places, there are several, interpretations and several meanings given by mufassirin. But there are places where we can't say surely what is the exact meaning. Wal Fajr, by the dawn. Now I understand that, as I said before, was subh iza asfar. It denoted in Surah Al-Mudassir the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the beginning of the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Was subh iza asfar. In the same way, I think that here also it is being pointed in that direction, by the dawn. وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ, and by the 10 nights. Mostly people think these are the 10 nights of Zul Hijjah. First 10 days of Zul Hijjah. They are very sacred. وَالشَّفْعِ وَالْوَتْرِ, by the even and the odd. Many sayings are there about the interpretation. وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَسْرٍ, and by the night when it departs. This again, as far as I think, denotes to the advent of the Prophet ﷺ. The night is departing. وَاللَّيْلِ is adbar. وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا أَسْفَرٍ. So in the beginning Fajr, and in the end, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَسْرٍ, and then the night, by the night when it departs. هَلْ فِي ذَلِكَ قَسَمٌ لِذِي حِجْرٍ, is there not in that an oath for a man? Now the historical events, only brief mentions of Qawm Aad and Samud and so on. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi'ad, didn't you see what your Lord did with the nation of Aad? How he dealt with them? Iram Zat al-Imad, of Iram, having very high pillars. They say that Iram was the name of the city. Aad was name of the nation. Iram was the city. And that is said generally, Jannatul Shaddad. Shaddad was an emperor of Aad. And he has, a city he established, a very beautiful, all gardens. And then on the ramparts there were very high pillars. So Iram Zat al-Imad, that city of Iram, which had very high pillars. Allati lam yukhlaq misluha fil bilad, the like of whom were never created in the lands. That was for the first time. It must be at least 6,000 years from now. And there was some news that now this city has been seen under the desert. There are the remnants of this city present. Now because there are techniques with which they can see what is beneath the soil. Otherwise over it is a very bad desert. Nothing stands over there. Everything sinks into the sand. Quick sands. Alam tara kayfa fa'ala rabbuka bi'adin irama zatil imadin allati lam yukhlaq misluha fil bilad wa samud allazina jabu as-sakhra bil wad. And didn't you see what your Lord did with Samud? Who carved the rocks in the valleys. They can be seen till today in Hijr, about 100 miles northwest of Medina. There are, in the mountains, they have carved big halls, big houses, palaces. They are still mawjud. But Fir'aun zil awtad. And didn't you see how your Lord dealt with Fir'aun? The Fir'aun who had the 10 pegs, zil awtad. So big an army that with that army there used to be tents. And to erect the tents, they needed pegs. So even the pegs were so great in number that several hundred horses or camels were carrying the pegs only. So Fir'aun zil awtad, this became his name. Allazina taghaw fil bilad, those who transgressed in the lands. Now this tughyani is with respect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whosoever transgresses from the limits of obedience. Because for jinns and humans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Whosoever rises above this level, so he is طغيان, طاغوت, الذين طغوا في البلاد فأكثروا فيها الفساد. And as a result, they multiplied therein corruption and mischief. Now these are two dimensions. Tagha against Allah and fasad among the mankind. When you are transgressing against Allah, then there shall be oppressions, there will be killings, There will be all sorts of mischiefs and miscreants. So this is two aspects. Ibadullah, Huququllah or Huququl Ibad. Regarding Huququllah, they transgressed. Regarding Huququl Ibad, they created corruption and mischief in the land. فَصَبَّ عَلَيْهِمْ رَبُّكَ صَوْتَ عَذَابٍ. So your Lord let loose on them the lashes of punishment. إِنَّ رَبَّكَ لَبِالْمِرْصَادِ. Verily your Lord is ever on the watch. فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَا ابْتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَنِ. These are the two central ayat of this surah, and they give you the central theme of this surah. Before this, 14 ayat, all small, small, small. After that also, then from 17th onwards, very small ayat. But these are long ayat too. فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ, as for man, إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ, whenever his Lord tries him, tests him, by honoring him and blessing him, he says, فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمًا. إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ. He honors him and blesses him. Then he says, my Lord has honored me. وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ. But when his Lord tries him and tests him, فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ, and straightens or restricts for him his sustenance, فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانًا. Then he says, my Lord has humiliated me. What is wrong in it? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you wealth, all the blessings of this world, if you say Allah has honored me, is it wrong? If you are poor and your needs are not fulfilled, if you say Allah has humiliated me, what's wrong in it? He is not attributing it to any other God. Allah. Allah has honored me. Allah has humiliated me. But what's the wrong? What's the mistake? The mistake is that if Allah gives you plenty, this is also a test, not honor. And if He gives you less, this is also a test, not humiliation. Both conditions are equal in this respect. They are for testing. The honor will be on that day. Whosoever is honored on that day, he will be honored. ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ التَّغَابُنِ. Yawm, Allah will gather them, and that day will be ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ التَّغَابُنِ. So actually, to think that this is honor, this is wrong. If you are poor, you think you have been humiliated, this is wrong. Both conditions are equal. They are tests. Rather, there should be one step further. Now these are, steps, guidance and, going on the wrong path, step by step. The highest Zallal Dalalam Baida would be then if Allah has given you something and blessed you, you say this is from Lat or Uzza or Manat. And when you are in trouble, you say that Hubal is perhaps angry from me. But this is the shirk. This is the worst, thing that a man can adopt. But you come lower down. Well, Allah has honored me. Allah has humiliated me. Comparing to that person, he is on a better place. That he is attributing honor or humiliation to Allah, not to any other God. But if he thinks that in this world what is given to him is honor, and if there is poverty or something of that type, then it is humiliation, it is wrong. Neither the honor is honor nor humiliation is humiliation. Both are equal. But there is certain a further level of guidance. You may think that the testing by way of inflictions and sort of pain, this test is greater, harder than the test when he blesses, when he gives plenty. No. Real case is the reverse. When he gives you plenty, you will tend to forget him. When you are in need, you will turn to him. So that examination, that test is worse than the test of poverty or pain. Because if you are, enjoying life, rejoicing, everything in plenty, then you will forget Allah. If you are in pain, if you are afflicted by something, you will turn to Allah. And that is what happened with Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, rahimahullah. When from the government level, the idea of creativity of Quran, that Quran is also created, this aqidah was being enforced by the state, by government. And he stood up, I am not going to accept this. Ituni bishay'in min kitabillahi wa sunnati rasulihi taqul. If you can produce some argument, some proofs from the book of Allah or the sayings of his prophet, then I will say. If you can't produce any proof, I won't accept. He was beaten. They say he was beaten in a way that even if a elephant was beaten in that way, that would have not been able to bear it. But he never wept. He took all the beatings. But then the conditions changed. Now the Khalifa, who took over from the former Khalifa, he believed in the same thing in which Ahmad ibn Hanbal believed. Now from the court of the Khalifa, a messenger came with some gold pieces, ashrafis, dinars, that the Khalifa has sent this for you as a gift, as a present. Now he wept. Oh Allah, I can't stand this test. This is harder. To be able to resist temptation, it's more difficult than to resist the persecution. So these are the three levels. فَأَمَّا الْإِنسَانُ إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ رَبُّهُ فَأَكْرَمَهُ وَنَعَّمَهُ فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَكْرَمَنِ. No, it's not the honor. You are mistaken. وَأَمَّا إِذَا مَبْتَلَاهُ فَقَدَرَ عَلَيْهِ رِزْقَهُ وَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَهَانَنِ. No, this is not humiliation. Allah, no, not at all. بَلْ لَا تُكْرِمُونَ الْيَتِيمِ. But your character, most of you have fallen down so much regarding morality that you don't honor the orphan. This is the condition of the Arabian society at that time. They had gone so low, generally speaking. There were exceptions, but generally, لا تكرمون اليتيم ولا تحاضون على طعام المسكين. And you do not urge others even to feed the needy and hungry. وَتَأْكُلُونَ التُّرَاثَ أَكْلًا لَمًّا. And you eat up all the inheritance with devouring greed. Don't take anybody else, anything else. Take all the inheritance. This was the practice with them. The older son, he inherited everything. Nothing to even the younger sons. Nothing. What to speak of daughters? So, تَأْكُلُونَ التُّرَاثَ أَكْلًا لَمًّا وَتُحِبُّونَ الْمَالَ حُبًّا جَمًّا. And you love wealth with abounding love. Kalla. Certainly not. إِذَا دُكَّتِ الْأَرْضُ دَكًّا دَكًّا. When the earth will be crushed into powder, or when the earth will be beaten flat by continuous beating. These are two translations done by two sons of Shah Waliullah Dehlvi. Shah Rafiuddin, rahimahullah, and Shah Abdul Qadir. One has translated, when the earth will be crushed into powder. And the other, when the earth will be beaten flat by continuous beating and beating and beating and beating, so it becomes flat. No mountains, nothing of the sorts, no heights, no depths, no oceans. We have read that the seas will be flowed out and they will become dry. So the whole earth will be one piece, plain, simple, and stretched. This we have already read in Surah Al-Inshiqaq. وَإِذَا الْأَرْضُ مُدَّتْ, it will be stretched. So that it holds all the mankind at once, standing before the Lord. Because this is going to become the ground where you know that reckoning and judgment will be passed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we say in Persian, Qissa-e Zameen, Barsar-e Zameen. This is the matter of this earth, whatever we have earned, working here, living here. So all the matters will be decided here. So the next ayah is very important. وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will himself descend to this earth. We can't say how this descent will be. But this is it. Just as we had the hadith that every night in the small hours of the morning, Allah comes down to the nearest heaven, Sama'at Dunya. And then it is called, Hal min mustaghfirin faghfir lah. Is there anybody asking for forgiveness? So I shall forgive him. Hal min sa'ilin fa'utiyahu. Is there someone requesting me something so that I should grant it to him? Now, one step more. Every night he comes to the first heaven. On that day, he will descend further and he will come on this earth. وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ, and your Lord, and the angels rank upon rank, وَالْمَلَكُ صَفًّا صَفًّا. Now this flattened earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's descent, the angels and all the humans, from Adam till the last man of his progeny, which will come in this earth, in this world, till the end of this world. وَجِيَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِجَهَنَّمٍ. And then the hell will be brought face to face with them. يَوْمَئِذٍ يَتَذَكَّرُ الْإِنسَانُ. On that day, man will receive admonition, he will be reminded, he will come to his senses. وَأَنَّى لَهُ الذِّكْرَى. Now to what avail? He's coming to senses. He's getting the admonition. He's getting the reminding now is of no avail. فَأَنَّى لَهُ الذِّكْرَى. يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. He will say, would that I had forwarded some good for this life of mine. Now it will dawn upon him, this is the life. I thought that life in that world was the real life. That was only a preface to life. The real book of life has opened today. And alas, I sent nothing for this life. I kept working, only for that life. The requirements or the facilities, conveniences or luxuries of this life. يَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُعَذِّبُ عَذَابَهُ أَحَدٌ. So none can chastise as he shall chastise on that day. وَلَا يُوثِقُ وَثَاقَهُ أَحَدٌ. And no one can bind anyone as he shall bind these disbelievers. They will be bound and chastised. In the end, these 4 small ayat are very heartening. And blessed are the souls to whom Allah will say these words. You can only pray that Allah includes us also. Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutmainnah. O you soul that remained at peace. Nafs mutmainnah. Nafs lawwama in Surah Qiyamah. Nafs ammara in Surah Yusuf. Nafs mutmainnah. This is the highest spiritual station for the soul and spirit of man. And what is this itminan? Whether something good is coming to you or whether something which is unpleasant coming to you, you stand there like a rock, not to be influenced by these changing conditions. Whatever is coming from my Lord. Har chisaqi marikh tani altafast. And you are there firm. Inna allazina qalu rabbuna Allah summa istaqamu. So you are nafs mutmainnah, the contented soul, the satisfied soul, the soul or spirit which is at peace with himself. To be at peace with yourself is also not an easy job. Repenting, what this happened, why happened, this should not have happened, what I did, I should not have done this. You are there, wavering this way, that way. But if you have accepted Allah as your Lord, whatever has come, it's from Him. Na shavad nasibe dushman ke shavad hala ke tegat sare dostan salamat ki tu khanjar azmai. Oh Allah, whatever you pleases, I am ready. At least we should be like Hazrat Ismail when he said to his father Ibrahim, Satajaduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. Oh father, go on, go ahead, do what you have been commanded to do. And God willing, you will find me forbearing, patient. Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutmainnah. Oh, the contented and satisfied soul, irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah. Now return unto your Lord, well pleased by your Lord and well pleasing to your Lord. Your Lord is pleased with you and you will be pleased with Him. Radiyatan mardiyah. And many times we find the words, Radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah was pleased with them and they were pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This will happen in the paradise or Jannah. But here also you should remain pleased with whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides for you. No complaint. We read it in Surah Al-Taghabun. Ma asaba min musibatin illa bi iznillah. Wa man yu'min billahi yahdi qalbah. Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutmainnatu irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah fadkhuli fi ibadi. Now go and enter my bondsmen, my servants, min al-nabiyyin wa siddiqeen wa shuhada'i wa salihin. Now you will have the company of them. Wadkhuli jannati. Go and enter my garden, my paradise.